Welcome back. The news in full. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi continued his state visit to Spain on Wednesday, which is aimed at fostering bilateral relations in various domains and reviewing a number of regional issues of mutual concern. Details follow.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi continued his state visit to Spain on Wednesday, during which he held talks with Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez in the attendance of the two countries' delegations. Following their talks, President el-Sisi and Sanchez witnessed the signing ceremony of a number of memoranda of understandings in various domains and signed an announcement to upgrade bilateral ties to the strategic partnership level. They also held a joint press conference during which the Spanish Premier hailed bilateral ties binding the two nations and said his country was looking forward to broadening relations with Egypt in all fields of cooperation, especially the economic one. Sanchez described President el-Sisi's visit as an important one, especially that it comes amid regional crises hitting the Middle East region, notably Gaza. He asserted that Madrid fully agrees with Egypt in rejecting the deportation of Palestinians from their land and called for a two-state solution. The Spanish Premier welcomed Egypt's efforts to settle Gaza crisis, including the upcoming summit over Gaza on March 4th, in which he confirmed that his country would support all its outcomes. For his part, President el-Sisi held bilateral ties which depend on mutual respect and cooperation, and reiterated that the two sides aim to increase Spanish investments in Egypt. The President said their talks tackled the reconstruction of Gaza without the deportation of its people, as well as the future of the Palestinian cause, with the two sides stressing the significance of resuming peace talks and holding a Palestinian state according to international legitimacy and resolutions. The head of state hailed Spanish courageous and historic decision to recognize the Palestinian state and stressed the significance of implementing the ceasefire agreement in Gaza and reaching humanitarian aid into the besieged Strip. The President further praised the role played by UNRWA in serving Gazans as one of the international organizations that work in the humanitarian sectors in the Gaza Strip. President el-Sisi was later received by Spanish King Philip VI, who held him a luncheon and said he appreciated Egypt's pivotal role in attaining peace in the Middle East region. The Spanish king said Egypt and Spain have identical visions regarding a two-state solution. He held bilateral ties in various domains and said many Spanish companies are broadening their investments in Egypt. King Philip also said Egypt is a strategic partner to Spain and that the two sides are working on enhancing ties. On Gaza, he said both sides have an identical vision regarding a two-state solution. For his part, President el-Sisi invited the Spanish monarch to visit Egypt in near future and attend the inauguration of the Grand Egyptian Museum. He said Cairo is looking forward to implementing axis of strategic partnership with Spain. The head of state asserted that Egypt is exerting utmost efforts to end the regional crises, especially in Gaza, Syria and Sudan. During his official visit to Spain, President el-Sisi further met with a number of representatives and heads of giant Spanish companies.
Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli chaired on Wednesday the weekly cabinet meeting. In a press conference after the meeting, Madbouli said that the state is keen to enhance cooperation with African countries, adding that Egyptian companies are participating in development in the African continent. The Prime Minister also reiterated that Egypt is working to draw up a comprehensive vision towards the reconstruction of Gaza, together with efforts to maintain the Gaza ceasefire deal and to increase the access of humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip. Madbouli added that the state focuses on the two-state solution as the only way for achieving peace and stability in the region. Meanwhile, the Premier presented current and future plans in the energy sector, as well as the promising opportunities in this sector over the upcoming periods. A round of talks among Egyptian, Qatari and Israeli and American delegations have ended successfully in Cairo on Tuesday. The talks resulted in agreeing on the release of the remaining Israeli detainees and Palestinian prisoners next Saturday within the framework of completing terms of a ceasefire agreement in Gaza. Later, Hamas confirmed that it would hand over next Saturday all 6 living Israeli hostages due for release under the first phase of the Gaza ceasefire, as well as the bodies of 4 dead captives. For its part, Israel said it expects the bodies of 4 hostages be returned on Thursday ahead of the release of the 6 living captives. Heavy equipment started flowing into the Gaza Strip through the Rafah border crossing in Egypt's northern Sinai Governorate. Officials said efforts by Egypt and Qatar secured the entry of the heavy equipment, which include tractors, diggers, and transportation vehicles carrying caravans to boost reconstruction efforts of the enclave. The equipment had reached the Rafah crossing days ago, and their preparations were concluded before allowing them into the Strip. Humanitarian aid also continued to enter the Gaza Strip through the Rafah border crossing, including food aid, medical supplies, and other essentials. Tens of thousands of Palestinians in recent weeks have fled Israeli occupation military operations across the northern West Bank, the largest